Hey guys, it's Eden, and today I did this bronzy makeup look. I feel like this is perfect for fall or a holiday party. I do also show you what it looks like with a darker lip, which makes it a little more fall, but I've just been obsessing over this Colourpop Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Magic Wand. I just love it so much. It's so comfortable on the lips. It's like the perfect color. It just goes with everything. So that is the lip that I chose to wear it with, but this is just a perfect look you could really wear anytime if you're going out at night or whatever you're doing, but I do think it's a pretty look for the holidays as well. That's why I wanted to show you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this look. I put all the products I use in the description box down below if you guys are interested in seeing that. So let's just get on into the video, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave. So to start off this look, I'm going to prime my eyes with my concealer. I'm just going to use my LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is in the shade Porcelain. Now I'm going to go ahead and set that concealer with my face powder that I always use. Priming my eyelids with my concealer and then setting it with powder like that just makes sure that it cancels out any discoloration in my eyes. And then the powder just helps so when I blend my eyeshadows, they're not going onto a sticky base. They're going to have nice smooth canvas. So that is why I do that. So now I'm just going to go in with my big fluffy brush. And I'm going to take my Morphe 35F palette. I absolutely love this palette. It just screams fall to me. It just has all the perfect gold, cranberry shades you would want to use in the fall. So I'm going to go ahead in with this shade right here first, just for a really soft transition. Then I'm going to go on top of it with a darker one. So this one really isn't going to do much. I just like to put this shadow on because it will give the other ones just something to blend into. So you really don't have to do this step. I just like to. And now I'm going to go in with this shade here. It's like a light, cooler brown color. It's not super orangey, so I'm going to go ahead and load up my crease brush and just do the same thing with that shadow. I'm really going for kind of like a lighter crease because I'm going to go darker on the lid, but I do want to put a little bit more depth a little lower into the crease. So I'm going to take this brush right here, just kind of a flat brush from e.l.f. It's called the Eyeshadow C brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of this color right here. I'm going to put that just in really lower in the actual crease of my eye. Now I'm just going to take a clean fluffy brush and just kind of blend a little. Alrighty, so now that I have my crease shades in, I'm going to go in with one of my lid shades. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this shade here. It's just a beautiful dark brown, but it almost has some like cranberry colored glitters in it. When you really look at it, it's just gorgeous. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that on the outer half of my lid. Alright, so now that I have that shade placed where I want it, kind of on the outer and middle of my eye, leaving the inner corner blank, I'm going to go back in with this shade right here. I'm going to blend out the edges of that just so it's not looking harsh or crazy. Alrighty, and now I'm going to go in with that same shade again on my flat eyeshadow brush, but this time I'm going to spray it with a little bit of my setting spray. Using the setting spray like that just really kind of brings out the shimmer in the eyeshadow. So now I'm going to go right next door to that shade with this beautiful, it's kind of like a darker, almost coppery gold. Just a gorgeous shade, and I think it goes really well with that darker one. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the inner corner. You're just using that same brush, I'm just flipping it over. Alrighty, so after I put that light gold shadow, I just took a little bit more of the darker gold and kind of blended the two shades together so there's not like a line marking like where one shade starts and ends. They just kind of fade into each other. And then once more I'm going to go in with my big fluffy brush around the edges as well. And now I am going to quickly dip into my Morphe and KathleenLights palette because I absolutely love these two shades mixed together under the brow bone. After I used it last time, I was like so impressed. I normally don't like shimmery shades under my brow bone, but this one mixed with this matte cream kind of bone shade just make the perfect highlight for under the brow bone. I'm just going to take this little brush here, dip back and forth between both shades, and highlight the brow bone. And then make sure that's not too harsh. Just again, really softly with my blending brush. I'm going to go in with my favorite eyeliner. That is the Prestige Cosmetics. It's in this little pot like this, and it has a felt tip. That is just my personal preference when I'm using liquid liner. It's just the easiest for me, and this eyeliner is really black. It dries matte and it will not budge. Once it dries, it is set in place. So I'm going to go ahead and create a wing with it. So now that I have my eyeliner on, I'm going to go ahead and curl my eyelashes and then put on my mascara. I'm going to use my L'Oreal Telescopic Carbon Black, my favorite mascara ever. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that on my lashes. Alright, so I just applied a hefty amount of mascara to my top eyelashes. You could totally wear false lashes with this look. I think it would look gorgeous. I just personally like to just pile on like 7 coats of mascara, but that is just what I like to do. So now I'm going to take a black eyeliner and I'm going to put this in my upper inner rim just so you don't see any skin poking through my eyelashes. Alrighty, so now that the top of my eyes is done, I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my face. So back up a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the L'Oreal Pro-Glow foundation. I'm finally trying it out. I'm in the shade 203. I've only worn it once before and I did like it. Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless is still definitely my favorite foundation, but I do like this one. I'm just kind of trying it out to see how much I like it. I like that it's a dewy finish foundation because I do have normal skin, but I tend to get some dry patches, so I like to use a dewy foundation. I still set it anyways, so it doesn't look super dewy anyways, but I do like how this foundation looks on the skin. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that with my beauty blender. I always use a dampened beauty blender. If you don't use a beauty blender yet, I really suggest trying it out. I love it. It's my favorite way to apply foundation. You just dampen it under water and then you squeeze it out like in a towel so it just stays damp, but it's not like soaking wet full of water. And it just applies your foundation so beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this in. I always take my foundation to my ear and even onto my ear a little bit. That way there's no like line right here in front of your ear where you can tell that you obviously have foundation on. So I always do that, and this shade actually, I'm really happy that it literally matches me perfectly. I almost got a darker one and I'm so happy I got this one. But when I do have a foundation, it's either a little too dark or too light. And even with a foundation that does match, honestly, I'll just take it down like this a little bit. If it doesn't match me very well, I'll take it down further down my neck like this, but luckily this foundation is my perfect color. I really like this foundation because it does make my skin look really hydrated. I personally like to just sheer out my foundations. I don't like to have really full coverage, so I think you could build this up to a full coverage if that's what you're looking for, but you can also sheer it out, which is what I normally do. So now that I have my foundation on, I'm going to go in with my LA Girl Pro Conceal. I'm just trying this out. I have it in a couple shades. I'm going to go ahead and try and use the shade Porcelain because the other ones look a little bit orangey. So hopefully this one's not too light. Looks extremely light. I might mix it in with a darker shade. I think I'm going to mix in a little bit of the creamy beige shade. I think it's like the 1 or 2 darker than that one under my eyes. It just looks so orange though. I'm just going to mix a little bit of it in with this shade. See how that looks. Well, I definitely do like the coverage on this concealer. It's really nice actually. And I'm so happy that I mixed those two together because that one alone would have been definitely too light for me. And it really feels lightweight. I don't feel like I have concealer on my face or anything. Nothing feels thick and heavy, and it covered really well. Alrighty, so I went ahead and applied my powder under my eyes with my beauty blender just to bake a little bit, make sure that concealer doesn't crease. I do that with no matter what concealer I use. So now I'm going to set the rest of my face while that powder is setting on there. I'm just going to use my Maybelline Fit Me face powder and my big fluffy brush, and I just like to lightly set my foundation, just so nothing's tacky and nothing that slides anywhere. I just use the smallest amount of powder. I just like to put something on there, and that way my powder bronzer and everything will glide on my skin so much nicer. Even after I powdered, as you can probably see, I didn't put a lot of powder or anything, but that foundation does have a nice natural glow to it. Like, it really almost looks like I only put powder on, that I don't even really have any foundation. So I do actually really like that foundation. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows. I'm going to fill them in with my L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in dark brunette. I'm going to set them with a brow gel in medium to dark. This one right here, this is the eyebrow that always gives me troubles. Alrighty, so now that my eyebrows are on, it is time to wipe out this powder under my eyes. I'm going to use my banana powder from Ulta brand. Never used this before, but I want to give it a shot. I'm just going to use this powder to brush off the powder I have under my eyes now, and it should kind of brighten it up because of the yellow color. And I also find that when I use a translucent powder that's white, I mean, you usually get a flashback, right? But I find that when I brush it off with another powder, either my face powder or a yellowish banana powder like this, it makes it not flash back and still sets it really nicely. And the yellow powder also brightens up under your eyes, so that is a plus. So now, what should we do? I'm going to do my lower lash line because I'm not going to do much under there. I'm going to take, which one am I going to take? I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here. And I'm just going to very, very lightly drag that on my lower lash line, and then I think I'm just going to call it a day with that. That shade just makes a really subtle difference. I never like to do much on my lower lash line, just to add a little bit of a light shadow. I don't like to do anything super dark on there because I don't like how it looks on me, and I also don't like black eyeliner on my lower lash line. I don't know what it is. Like, on so many people it looks so beautiful, but just on myself I'm really just not a fan of it. So I'm gonna try this Colourpop cream gel eyeliner. This is the shade Get Paid. It's like a beautiful like copper shade. I'm gonna swatch it for you. That is what it looks like. It's not super dark, it's just a beautiful like shimmery copper shade. So hopefully this looks good. I'm just gonna put this, a little bit of it, on my lower lash line. So now I'm gonna take my same mascara on my bottom lashes. Alrighty, so my eyes are officially done. I really love how it turned out, and I love what that coppery eyeliner did to my lower lash line. It kind of made it match the top, and I just really love how it turned out. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my face. So I'm going to go in with my favorite bronzer, the Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. It's a gorgeous, natural looking bronzer. It's just not too orange, not too neutral. It's just gorgeous. I don't like to use cool tone bronzers. I like more on the warmer side, so this one is my favorite. And I always like to take my same bronzer I used on my face and just a fluffy crease brush, lightly tap into it and contour the sides of my nose a little bit. Now Now for a little bit of blush to warm up my cheeks, I'm going to take my Makeup Revolution Hot Spice blush palette. It looks like this. It's got some beautiful warm shades in it. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to go ahead and take these two. These are my favorite ones to use in the palette. I'm going to take my same Japanese brush I used to bronze, dip back and forth in those two. And after I use my blush, I always like to go over it a little bit with my powder brush. Now the last thing that I need to do is put on my lipstick. I'm trying to decide. I normally would just do a nude lip with this, but I think I kind of want to do like a darkish reddish lip. I feel like that'll be really fun for the holiday season, so let me see. First, I'm going to line my lips with my Jordana lip liner in the shade Tawny. This is my favorite lip liner because you can literally use it with any lipstick. It's like the same exact color as my lips basically, just a tiny bit darker. Alrighty guys, so this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, let me know in the comments section below and like this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one.